So
Zero.
apparently the Air Force is in a PIO with
Mhm.
just about everything these days.
Yep.
I got it, Doug. I got it up right here, so to speak. The Air Force now says it has no replacement for the
Wow.
F-22. And this is not necessarily about the F-22. It's about it's kind of a weird way they did it. But what's really in jeopardy is the Next Generation Air Dominance Program,
Wow.
or at least whether the 6th-gen crewed aircraft slated to replace the F-22. So General Kenneth Wilsbach says right now, frankly, there isn't an F-22 replacement. The F-22 is a fantastic aircraft. We're actually planning several upgrades to the jet as we speak, and there's no official replacement to the F-22 right now. And he says most everybody knows we're in the source selection for the NGAD. So it's almost like a pedantic, how they say it, right? Okay, we haven't selected it yet, so obviously there's no replacement. But once we select it, there might be. But also, they're working on the Collaborative Combat Aircraft, which is the Loyal Wingman program. And they said it's murky because they want to reduce the cost of jets, which how does that work out, Skid?
Not well.
No, it doesn't work out so well. But they're modernizing it, and then they were still trying to get rid of the old Block 20s. But the general said, "Well, I'd like to keep the Block 20s because they have training value." And we flew against those. That's what they had, was the Block 20s, right? The older ones.
Well, the students, if I recollect, the students weren't getting, because of the upgrade they had to go through when they got out of the schoolhouse. It was like a whole new upgrade, like flying a B model or A model Viper to a C model. Like, whoa, this is a new airplane.
Yeah. So basically the article's saying that, if they do decide to get rid of the older ones and they don't have a replacement for the F-22, they might be in kind of the hurt locker. So I wanted to talk about it simply because I personally think that there's stuff going on behind the scenes that the public is not privy to and won't be. Kind of like what you did with the F-117 and kind of the programs and stuff like that. There's just stuff that they just won't know about until it's time, right? I mean,
keep your
and I think that's the way it should be, because we don't want to tip our hand. But on the same note, I do think there's a valid concern with the structure of air power in how we allocate resources, and we reduce buys, we reduce numbers of F-35s, we've reduced numbers of the F-15EX, and we increase the numbers and we go back down. So I don't know, Skid, what do you think is the outlook as far as the 6th gen and stuff like that?
When do you see the next, you're always fighting the last war with your current equipment, correct? So now you're thinking future wars. We just saw what happened with Iran sending drones to attack Israel, correct? And it was a big, we defended Israel, but there's a lot of things around that make me wonder. But what are you trying to defend against? What's the future threat? Obviously, we've got missiles now that can do some pretty crazy things. The unmanned vehicles that can do some pretty neat things. So, do you need I want it. I want to see a manned aircraft that we can jump into, operate with all the newest technology, and you do not want to lose air dominance. You do not want to lose that. But who's our biggest threat right now? Is it China? Is it Russia? Taiwan, defending Taiwan, defending Ukraine, or NATO. What you got to look towards the future and say, what's your enemy developing that you need to be able to overcome? So hopefully we got some secret toys in the hiding somewhere that we're going to pop out like UFOs. But I agree. I'm sorry, I disagree with the Air Force. They need to have a policy. I mean, we're doing the B-21, right? Come on, let's get a F-22 replacement started, because it takes 25 years to get the thing to service. Correct?
Oh, it's almost criminal how long it takes.
I mean, the buying, the whole process is so nutty,
and there's not enough competition. So
you got single source, Lockheed Martin.
When the F-22 came out, it was competing against other
Northrop
vendors,
right?
Yeah, and then when the F-35 came out, even it was competing against several, and it wasn't just because remember we had Rick Abel on, and it wasn't just one, like it was Northrop plus, so it was multiple companies that were like, we're going to get together, we'll be on this side, right? So we don't have that as much anymore because all these
Yeah.
companies have kind of gone away, like McDonnell Douglas, right? They're
Gone.
gone. They're
Yep.
part of Boeing now. So
Yep.
consolidation within the industry has created a vacuum or more of an inefficiency. I mean, we
Correct.
basically, because what happens when you get bloated? You get bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So the government is bloated and,
Mm.
and bureaucratic, and now the
Mhm.
contractors are bloated and bureaucratic, and you've got two bloated bureaucracies
Yeah.
feeding off each other to create nothing.
Big time.
It's creating
Yeah.
over 20 years. I have
Mhm.
seen something that I thought was cool. It was a drone that could carry little drones from the water,
Wow.
like the manta ray or sea ray or something that,
Wow.
there's a lot of drone technology that's coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And I see that as the paradigm shift because you can do drone swarms. The two things I see them trying to pivot to is drones and hypersonic missiles with AI and
Yep.
all that stuff. The problem,
Mhm.
though, is what happens when you're in a contested, degraded, denied environment
Whoa.
and all of those things stop working as
Mhm.
well. And you need that man machine interface to make the big
Mhm.
decisions. But then, even
Yep.
still, Skid, what do we use for air sovereignty in our own country? How many times do you scramble the alert F-15 to go look at the Cessna, to look at the this, to look at that? I mean,
Mhm.
we still need that capability
Correct.
at
Yeah.
home, and you can only do it for so long until that eagle is 50 years old, or we didn't buy enough EXs to
Right.
fill the gap and stuff. And even that's going to be 50 years old because okay, what's after the EX? The EZ, F-15
Mhm.
EZ. I like it. The easy,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
easy
That's
button.
good. That's good. So I
So
agree with you.
I don't know. I mean, I still contend that you need the badass day one of the war, kill everything, Raptor style jet, but then you need the
Yep.
workhorses that are going to go do,
Yep.
the fight tank fight in Afghanistan when the
Mhm.
mission calls for it. Because, like you just said in an earlier segment, we're going to fight the near peers, but we're also going to fight the little small conflicts where
You have
where
to.
we're going to burn hours off of
Yep.
these jets. Because that's what happened
Correct.
with the Viper. The
Mhm.
Viper and the Super Hornet. We flew so many hours in orbit
Yep.
over Afghanistan and Iraq that
Mhm.
we ran the hours off these aircraft, and now they're falling apart.
Right. I agree. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge for our DoD planners to, maintain our fleets and keep them up to speed. Upgrades, new wings at like the A-10, new avionics to keep it
Mhm.
relevant. So
Yeah.
yeah, you've got all these things you got to worry about, and can your budget sustain it? I don't know. Do you have any idea what the NDAA is proposing for our budget by chance?
No, we talked about it. I mean, the number's so like it's so
Huge.
astronomical. It's just fake. It's like what is 800
I know.
billion or well, like what do even numbers mean anymore? They're just going to print
Yeah,
more money.
it's money.
But
It's money.
I
Yeah.
I will say though, it is a testament to our maintainers that we are
Yes.
able to keep the jets that we have
Incredible. Those
going.
maintainers are the best. We have the
On the
best
flip
maintainers.
on the flip side, there was a comment, I think it was the NDAA video I saw of a guy, he's like, pilots are the problem. And his thesis was that pilots were the problem
Yep.
because pilots fly too much and want to fly too much, and that making the jets break. And I'm just like, holy
Oh,
forest for the trees. And I'm
no,
like,
just park them. Just park them,
yeah,
mover.
just park them and
Park
then
them. They're zero cost.
yeah. Yeah, it's like the
No
business owner.
maintenance.
Well, we wouldn't have so much work if nobody came to the store. And it's like, well,
Never have to
yeah,
change a
because the
tire.
store wouldn't exist. I mean,
Man.
we're a team. We need
Mhm.
maintainers to keep us flying, but we have to
Yep.
fly to do the mission. We have to train to be ready for the mission. Like it's a whole thing. You can't just say, well, the problem is pilots ruin everything because they fly too much. Like,
Have you heard this axiom? I don't know if it's an axiom or what you call it, but modern jets are designed by guys with PhDs, right?
yeah.
They're built by guys at Lockheed with master's degrees.
Mm-hmm.
They're flown by guys with bachelor degrees, and they're
Yeah.
worked on with guys with
High
high school
school.
degrees.
Yeah. 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 And the high school degree guys are smarter about the airplanes than the college degree guys and the PhD guys because eventually they
Yeah.
just know what works. They know what makes the airplane go. They know what makes it, what doesn't. We would never be in the situation where we're in to be able to
Yeah.
say, hey, we had great careers without great
Yeah.
maintainers.
Oh God, yes.
You absolutely need maintainers that are proud of what they do and
Mhm.
want to go flying. I was laughing at that comment because it's the antithesis of what I've seen in maintenance.
Yep.
Because typically maintainers are proud of what they do. They're proud of the mission. And when I was deployed, I remember some of the senior guys being like, and pilots being like, "Hey, take some time after your mission and talk to the dudes and tell them what you did."
Always.
Because
I loved it.
that motivates them. It makes them see, like, here's my product. Here's what I did. I just launched a jet that just did this. And it's true. Like, we're a team. It's not all about me. As much as I would love it, the idea as a fighter pilot, I'm like, oh, it's, move or check me. But realistically, I'm not the tip of the spear because I'm supporting the dudes on the ground.
Correct.
They're supporting me, supporting the dudes on the ground. The dudes on the ground are supporting the combatant commander's objective. Everybody's supporting something. So
it's great. No, that's a good teamwork attitude mover. Where I've always been. My crew chiefs are the best. I always try to give them praise, and I can't do what you do. I know you can't do what I do. I could train you to do what I do, but I can't do what you do. You guys you've got that skill set I missed out on.
I break it more than
So here's an example at Barksdale. My crew chief, Daisy May 79105, my jet. He'd been on the jet for 30 years. 30 years.
I bet that airplane was pristine.
It was the best. I mean, my jet, code one, maybe a code 2. I need a bulb replaced. But I mean, having that, I mean, but I love working with the young airmen, the one striper, two striper, barely out of tech school. And you motivate them. You try and keep them updated. And hey, I like this. They work good. And you teach them what you're doing. And it's always their airplane. You're borrowing it.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.